This light might be a little too bright. A little too bright. I'm gonna reduce it a bit so that and the exposure to I'm confused though. I don't want to be confused. Hi guys, hello, how are you all doing? It's been a while. I know, I'm so sorry. Stop it. No, don't judge me. I'm sorry. But you know what, I'll try to be more consistent. I'll try to give you guys more videos from me. As you guys have seen in the title down below, I am going to be telling you guys about my whole application process. A lot of people have asked me this question, like a lot of questions, and I've been trying to answer some, but it became just too much. I didn't even know what. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do a YouTube video and just explain it all there so that you guys can just have all the answers that you need. Disclaimer, I am not an agent and I cannot tell if there are other ways and other possible things to do during this whole process. I'm just telling you what I did and what worked for me and everything that happened in between. And I also wanted to say that I currently am in the United States of America, and I know that the processes and the laws and everything between US and Canada and the UK and Australia, they're all different. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So there are 3 main steps to follow whenever you're applying to college in a particular state, like whether it's the UK or Canada, whatever. It's searching for your school, like choosing the school that you want to go to and applying. And then the second step will be getting your visa, and then the third step will be your transportation, like going from wherever you are to your school. In between those 3 steps, there are other steps that you have to follow that can be very tricky and very, like, this whole journey is so stressful. Let me tell you guys, it's not easy. It ain't easy, bruh. It ain't easy. But you know what? You have to pray. You have to be consistent. You have to have hope. Okay, so we're gonna start with the whole application, like searching for your school, what school you want to go to, what documents you need, and everything that you need to do, just to get that admission that you need to get from your school. So it's actually been a while. I can't quite remember everything that I did, but I'm just going to tell you what I remember. First off, it was the pressure. When I tell you the pressure I was getting, it was choking me. The whole searching for school is not easy. It's not easy. But if you already know, like some people, their parents already know which school they want their children to go to. So if that's the case, then it's just going to be really easy for you. But if you guys don't know, like if you have a budget, for example, because that is one thing you look at. You can't just go to, for example, a school like University of Southern California and then your budget is like $20,000 per month. Or you want to go to a private school or something. You have to look at your budget. You have to look at the kind of programs that they have. You have to look at the scholarship opportunities. If you're looking for a scholarship, you have to look at the environment itself and like just how the school is. Schools everywhere are the same. They have their own advantage and they have their own disadvantage, so you have to look at all those things just to be sure where you're going to, because you're going to be going far away from home, like across the country, across the continent. When I started this journey, we started looking for schools. We looked at a lot of schools within the budget. We had to be sure that there were no hidden costs, and schools have hidden costs. You can't just say, okay, you have to go to the website of the school, and then you search for like their tuition, and not just the tuition alone. You have to look at other costs, because they will put in the tuition, they will put in the average tuition per credit. You have to look at that, because sometimes I'm talking about in America. I don't know about how Canadian schools are and European schools are, but in America here, you pay per credits. Like if you're taking 5 credits courses, it's more expensive than 3 credits. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So like you have to look at that. They will tell you like 12 credits it costs so and so, but the average students, I think, is 12 to 14. I guess, I'm not really sure, but like that's how much you're meant to, for an undergraduate student, that's how much you're meant to take per semester. If you're doing something in the arts, they ask you for portfolios. So like if you want to study music per se, you have to submit, sure, it depends on the school, but most of the schools will ask you to submit like a work, what you've done, that why you want to study music. Like you're just trying to sell yourself, the documents and everything. So after you've gotten, your choices, you can apply to more than one school if you want. But if you're sure you're going to get into the school, then fine. That's good. That's your decision and your confidence, and that's fine. So after you've chosen your schools, by looking at the program, by the weather, the states, the just the school in general, and whatever you like about it, it's time for the application. Applying to that school, the documents that you need, everything that you need, every process you need to go through. When I was applying to my school, I can't really remember, but I had to submit my transcript, I had to submit my WAEC, and I wrote SAT. I took SAT test because SAT helps, if you're looking for a scholarship, it gives you a leverage to get that scholarship. So after submitting my transcript, my WAEC, my SAT, I submitted my NECO, I think. So during the whole application, you have a portal that will tell you what documents you need to submit. For me, I submitted my transcript, my WAEC, and my SAT because I took the SAT. There are some schools that will ask for transcript evaluation. My school did not ask for that, so we thank God. And that actually is expensive. I know it costs like 75,000 naira. That was like last year. I'm not sure about now. In Nigeria though, I'm not sure about now, but there are some schools that will ask you for transcript evaluation, and yeah, because they will say that the Nigerian transcript, because the Nigerian GPA is 5 points and the American GPA system is 4 points. So because they don't want to go through the stress of evaluating it themselves, they will ask you to go through an agency, and that costs a lot of money. But thankfully, my school did not ask for that, and I did not need to evaluate my transcript. But some schools do. In America, I am not sure about the Canadian schools. So Nigeria was considered as an English-speaking country, so I didn't need to write IELTS. There are some schools that will show you a list of exemptions, and Nigeria was exempted because we're considered as an English-speaking country, so I didn't need to write IELTS or TOEFL or one of those English exams. And even if I did need to do that, my SAT would have covered it already, so that's also an advantage you get in your SAT. My SAT English had already covered it, so if I needed to take one of the English tests. So my school did not ask for that, and it was just pretty easy from my school though. The only thing that I would say was really complicated was having to go to school to get like recommendations for the other schools I applied to. I needed to get recommendations and like certificates. You are just trying to sell yourself, like why telling them why they would need you in their school, and why just your transcript might not just be enough. You're trying to sell yourself, like give yourself the advantage here, why you're better than the other people that you're supposed to put in. When applying to schools, you also have to be realistic. If you're from Nigeria or any other African country and you take the SAT and you have a certain score in your SAT, you have to be realistic. You can't be having like a 1200 and be applying to Ivy League schools. You should understand what I'm trying to say. It's just like in Nigeria, where your JAMB score is a certain, I don't know how it is now, but I know then to study medicine in Nigeria, I had to have like 260 and above, or was it 290 or 250 and above. So that's exactly how it is too in America. SAT is just like JAMB. So it depends on what score you get into the school. There are some schools that their acceptance rate is like 1%. So they only admit 1% of the people that apply to their school. There's some people that are 70%, there are some people that are 100%, there's some people that are 25, there's some people 16. The lower the acceptance rate, the more difficult it is to get into those schools. Like Harvard, for example, they probably have like a 16% or a 10% or 12% in their acceptance rate, so it's really difficult. So all those people that apply to those schools, you have to show them why you are going to be, why they should put you in that 12% of the people that they're going to admit in that school. So you're trying to sell yourself to the school, you're trying to make sure that you're trying to stand out, with your essays, if you need to write an essay, because some schools they might ask you to write an essay. In your essay, you have to make sure that you really speak to those admission officers. You really need to speak to them. You really need to stand out, something that will make you pop, like they would not forget you. That's what you need to do in your application in a school that is like 12%, 16%, 70%, 80%, and all of that. So you need to sell yourself, basically. So after you've gotten your whole application, documents, everything that your school asks for, like everything they ask for, just put it in there. Just get it from your school, however you want to get it, and then just put it, submit it, and just send it to them through the emails or however, they will tell you what to do. You just do that. And then after that, you wait. Now, this is a waiting period, You want to know if you got in or you did not get in. You want to know if you got accepted or you did not get accepted, which is actually a very tough time. For those of you wondering, I applied to McNeese State University and Missouri State University. So anyway, when you get accepted, hopefully you get accepted into that school that you want to go to, they give you an admission letter and be like, hey Alo, hey whoever it is, congratulations, you've been accepted into Missouri State University, McNeese State University, Louisiana State University, School of Music, whatever school you apply to. With that admission letter comes your I-20. Now that I-20 is very, very, very important. That I-20, you need to use it to get your visa. So when they send you that I-20, you can only get it when you have been accepted. When they send you that I-20, that is when you start your whole visa application. So now you've finished applying and you've gotten admitted. It is time to get that visa. In my own case, when I was applying, I was in Abuja, and the Abuja visa embassy the US embassy in Abuja was closed. It was shut down, so I had to go to Lagos. For those of you who have watched my vlog, if you need to check it out, I'm going to put it right there. So I had to go to Lagos to get my visa. And this whole visa application thing, that is where people get confused, because there are just a lot of things. There are just a lot of things to do. Like, for example, you have to get a date, and getting a date is what people fear the most. If you're blessed, that's why I said when I started this video, I said you need to pray, you need God. Like, so as I was saying, we had to go, quickly to go and get like the visa, because it was already mid-year, like July. It was already like July, and people were like, to get dates is very difficult. You have to, like, they'll probably give you like 5 months or 6 months or whatever. So it was just like everything that was happening, I was like, oh God, am I going to get this visa? I was so scared. I was so anxious. Like, God, please, I've already taken a gap year already. I don't want to wait anymore, because as I already started this whole process, I was like, if I start this whole process and it just flops and it doesn't work out, I'll be so sad going to whatever other university, wherever I would have gone to. I was like, God, I will be so sad, because I know that this whole, that feeling of you'll be so excited, oh my God, and then in the end it doesn't work out, that disappointment will forever leave a stain in your heart. And I did not want that, so I prayed like I had never prayed before. I was like, God, please just help me. If you do this for me, I will do so and so, prayers back to back. You know what I'm saying? They gave me the dates. After everything, applying for the visa, I needed to get my I-20. Because I was applying for the F1 visa, I had to go to the immigrant visa. the website. I will put it down here. I cannot remember it right now, but I had to go to the visa website. I did not use an agent. It was just me and my family, applying by ourselves. So when we had gotten to where we had gotten and found out that it was time to get the visa, we had to use an agent. Not an agent per se. We have these people in Abuja, and I know they're also in Lagos. I don't know about other parts of Nigeria, because I'm from Nigeria. I'm talking about my own experience in Nigeria. They're called Education USA. For those people going to the United States of America, they're called Education USA. They do not help you. They don't apply for you. They don't do your application process like all those agents that would be asking you for a lot of money. 800,000 and 80,000 naira. I can't even remember. They ask you for a lot of money to help you to apply to the schools, but you can do it yourself. In my case, I did it myself. You can save all that money and do it yourself. If you're going to the US, I would advise you to get in contact with Education USA. We have them in Abuja, we have them in Lagos, and I think Port Harcourt. Yeah, and you can also get them online. You don't necessarily have to go to their office. I don't know if they do have an office, but you don't necessarily need to go to their office. You can just go to their website, Google Education USA in Nigeria or wherever you are. I'm not sure about other countries, but of course I'm sure they will be in other countries too. And those were the people that helped. Any questions that we had, we could ask them and they helped. For the documents you need to apply to get a visa after going to the website, you will need your service ID, you will need your you need your I-20 form, you will need your DS-190, I think that's the name. So basically, when you get to the website, there are different things that they ask you there. You have to navigate. If you're doing this by yourself, you have to navigate. You would know, they would show you, is it non-immigrant visa, immigrant visa, whatever you're looking for. As a student, you're supposed to be going for the F1 visa. So you choose those options and then you create an account with them and then you start your application. And then they will tell you what documents you need. One of the things that we needed was to get a service ID. For that one, we had to go through an agent because it was just something that was more complicated than we expected. So we had to go through an agent to get the service ID, and we had to pay the service fee, and we have to have a receipt of the service fee payment or the visa payment. One of them, I'm not sure, but you would know when you do your own application. That was pretty much it. And then for the DS-190, they will give you a link where you have to fill in a whole, it's a form. You have to fill in that form. It's a lot. That form is a lot. When I mean it's a lot, it is a lot. You have to fill in a lot of information, like your school, the address, where you're going to. It's just a bunch of questions asking you questions. It's just a bunch of questions that they're asking you, just so that they know that this is who they're giving the visa to if they need to, and so that when you're doing your interview and you lie, they will catch you. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's just a whole bunch of questions that you need to answer. It's just a form that you have to fill. It's a very large form, and I would suggest that filling it, you have to be really careful. I would suggest that you take your time filling out that form. My mom had to print out the form because you can actually print it out. So we printed it out, and then I answered it printed out before I we did it again online, the place that I had to fill it out, so that I will not make any mistakes. So you have to be there with your parents or whoever. If you're doing this on your own, then you have to be really, really careful filling that, because any wrong information, this is an international thing, it's serious, so any wrong information can just make everything go haywire. So you have to be really careful about it. And so when you have all your documents, everything is ready, you can apply for your visa. So now applying for the visa, getting a date, that's the point, that's the main thing. Now getting a date now is the next step after you've had your whole documents and everything put together, and you've like put all your application in all the application that you need to put all the application. When I applied, like I said, it was mid-July, and people were like, this is going to be difficult getting your day, because a lot of people are in Nigeria, a lot of people are leaving, like, bro. Because when I wanted to get a date, I got December as my day, like December before Christmas, December, but I got it in the next year, that was this year. So if like things didn't go as planned, I would have still been in Nigeria by now, waiting for my visa interview in December. You get what I'm saying? So it was December I got, and not like that year that I wanted it to be. So we had to go through what they call expedited visa. So for the expedited visa, you have conditions, like you have requirements to be able to what qualifies you for the expedited visa. And then I was qualified because I was going for school. And if you're going for school, which I expect you will be if you're watching this video, then you are qualified for expedited visa. But the only reason you get that expedited visa is if the visa interview, not the visa, sorry, is if you are applying 30 days within like when your school is resuming. So that was the ending of November. It wasn't like within 30 days yet, because my school was resuming in January 12th or 14th. I was sure meant to be in school before like the resumption date. So it's that date that you put on your F1 visa, sorry, on your I-20. So the date that you put on your I-20 is the date that you're meant to be 30 days within. I don't know if I'm explaining this well. For example, it was January 14th on your I-20, and you are trying to get the expedited visa. You have to wait till probably December 14th to apply for that expedited visa. So it has to be within that 30-day range. And so during that period, it wasn't 30 days yet. I was like, okay. I told my mom that we had to wait, because if we had applied outside that 30 days, we probably wouldn't have gotten it. So we had to wait for it's like, I don't know if this was the right decision that we did, but like I said, I prayed a lot. So we applied for the expedited visa, and you choose your dates for the expedited visa. You choose your dates, and when we applied, it was 2 weeks ahead. Like, instead of the 1 year ahead, it was now 2 weeks ahead. So like, I was so happy. So I was saying, I got the expedited visa dates, and so I had to go to Lagos. Like I said, it's in my vlog if you want more, actual video footage of what happened. I got the interview, and then I went for the interview. I got 7 a.m. for my interview. I think it was 7 a.m. You can't go with your phone, you can't go with anything. The only thing you go in is with your documents, like whatever documents you might think they'll ask you for. The bank statement, the service ID, your WAEC, your NECO, your SAT, your transcript, your admission letter, all those things. So when I went for the interview, in the embassy, they made us go into one straight file. So they will call you by your time, like the time you're meant to go. There were some people that were even there earlier than me. So that's 7 a.m. I mean 7:45. I can't remember, but it was around that 7 a.m. time. And they called all of us, putting us in a straight file. They checked us for any incriminating devices. I had to take up like my watch or my bracelet. Like, you have held any metal, I think you take it out. The only thing that should be on you should be your nose mask. That time we were still using nose mask, so it was the nose mask and my files. And the files have to be in like a clear bag, like file jacket. And that was what they said in the place. But when I got there, I was seeing people with paper bags, like brown paper envelopes. So like, bro, Nigerians, they don't used to hear word. So they will stamp the back of your passport, and then you go to the place where you're supposed to be. So now everybody is in that place, that interviewing place. Everybody is there. There are different sections. Like, there's one for the people that are going for schooling, and there's one for the people that are going for like just traveling. What they call them, I think the tourists. Like if you're going for like 6 months, for that 6 month visa, that one that you just travel with and all of that, there are just different sections, but all of them were in one place. Like even the people that were asking, looking for permanent residence, the green card, all of them were in one place. So you would see people getting rejected. It was so messed up. So anyway, I went to this lady and she just basically asked me a few questions. She was like, why am I going to Missouri State University? What do my parents do? Why I wanted to study computer science, just basic questions. And I answered those questions even though my heart was beating in my chest, because you can never, like, their faces are just so, like, whether you get the question right or not, you would never know. Like, they're just so numb, like they're just so indifferent, like, just answer the questions and let's be going. And then all of a sudden she just gave me a white paper and then she collected my passport, and I was like, oh my god, I was so happy and relieved, because finally the main part was done with. So yeah, I got my visa, and I didn't get the visa, I got the visa, but like I think I had to give them my passport, so like I wasn't leaving there with the visa in hand. So when I got home, because during the visa application they will ask you like where you want your visa to be taken to. I didn't need to stay in Lagos and wait till they sent me my visa. I could go back home to Abuja. So when I got back home, that was when I started preparing, getting my stuff. Like I hadn't started preparing before the visa before the visa application. Yeah, after like 2 weeks or so, my visa was shipped to Abuja, or was delivered to Abuja, DHL. Is it DHL or DHS? But it was Hafsat Plaza in Abuja. That's the place that we went to pick it up. I forgot to mention this earlier, but before I started like even searching for schools, I came in contact with this agency called Mac Ivy Consults something. They are in Abuja. I don't know about other places. They're in Wuse, Abuja. I don't know other places. I don't know the pronunciation exactly, whether it's Mac Ivy or Mac 4. But I came in contact with them, and that was the agency I used to write my SAT. So they basically help you if you're looking to write SAT or IELTS or TOEFL or GRE for graduate students. Then you can go through Mac Ivy. They were really nice and they helped me, because you can go through a 3 months. You can go to a 3 months training, but I went through the 2 months training, and then you can write your SAT. I know SAT you can write it 3 times in a year, and I wrote mine in March. And I started my training or my lessons in January. So I took my lesson January, February, and I wrote my exam in March. And yeah, they will help you to apply for like the SAT. They will help you to apply for the school. And I wrote my SAT exam in Olumawo. For those of you who are in Abuja, you know where Olumawo is, and you know what Olumawo is. Olumawo is a school in Abuja. So if you're looking to write TOEFL, GRE, IELTS, SAT, I know there's another one besides the SAT. There is another one that they say is really difficult. I can't really remember. ACT. Okay, yeah. If you're looking to write ACT too, they can help with all of that. And that was one of the agencies I used. So yeah. So that's it. That's the end of this video. If you like this video, if you got anything important, or if you got anything that could help, please give it a big thumbs up. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe.